Hello Year 1 and welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. I hope you are all okay and you've been having a really great day so far. So for today's maths lesson, we are going to be continuing looking at numbers within 50. So let me just share my screen and you can see what we are doing today. So we are going to look at how do brilliant mathematicians find one more or one less within numbers to 50. So we talked a bit yesterday about how you have already done lots of stuff with one more or one less numbers, with numbers such as 20 or numbers up to 10. So we're going to look at how we find one more or one less within numbers to 50. So we're going to start with a bit of a warm-up. We're going to practice our 10 times table again, but we're going to do it using our hands this time and not our 100 square. And then we'll move on to an activity. We'll have a bit of a practice finding one more or one less for some numbers. And then we'll move on to the challenges, the tasks, where you will have different activities where you will find one more or one less than numbers to 50. And then we will just finish off by going over those tasks, having a look at the answers that you might have come up with and seeing if they are correct. And that's the part of the video where you can just pause to do your task and you can come back and see what the answers were. So, what do you need for today? Well, you're going to need a pencil and you're going to need your home learning book, or if you're at school, you'll have your maths book. And then it's also a good idea for you to have a whiteboard and a whiteboard pen, just in case you want to have a bit of a practice before you write in your home learning book. And then you will need your 100 square. Now, you will definitely need your 100 square for this lesson today, because lots of the things we will be doing will be using our 100 square. So you have one that looks just like this in your home learning pack. And you can also use your whiteboard pen in your home learning pack to write on it and rub that out if you move on to a different activity. So let's get started. So we're going to practice our 10 times table now. And remember what we said yesterday about pronouncing those numbers really clearly so we can hear 30, 40 and not 13, 14. Okay, because they're different numbers. Okay, so we're going to use our hands. So we need to warm our fingers up. And we're going to start on 0, because remember, we always start our times table with 0. And we might speed it up a bit in a minute. So let's have a go. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well done. So we are going to do our 10 times table to 100. So we'll try that again, starting from 0, and follow along. You might do it a bit quicker this time. And then after that, if you're at home, you can pause the video and have a bit of a practice on your own, practicing your 10 times table, because it's really important you know this, because we will be using our 10 times table for lots of different maths questions. So it's important you know it really well. So let's try it again on our hands, and we'll do it a bit quicker this time, starting from 0. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Well done, Year 1. We just counted all the way up to 100 using our 10 times table. Now, if you want to pause the video and have a go and see if you can do that even quicker, then you can. Let's move on to our activity. So yesterday we represented numbers to 50. So we looked at all the different ways our numbers to 50 can be shown using maths equipment, and we drew some pictures to show what these numbers could look like. So today we're going to look at these numbers again, and we're going to find one more and one less than these numbers. But before we do that, what do we mean by one more or one less? So we've done this before with other numbers. So just to remind you, one more would mean that our number gets bigger. One less means that our number gets smaller. So if I just get a pen on my screen, if we had, say, the number 9, one more than our number 9 would make it number 10. So our number gets bigger. If we had one less than 9, our number would get smaller and it would become number 8. So if you have your 100 square in front of you and you can find number 9 at the top there, and you can see that if you do one more, it turns into number 10, so it gets bigger. And if you do one less, it turns into number 8, so it gets smaller. But we will do a lot more on that in just a second. So, if we know that 1 more than 11 is 12, then what is 1 more than 41? So we can do this with bigger numbers in exactly the same way, because we are focusing on our tens and our ones columns, okay? So 1 more than 11 is 12, which means that 1 more than 41 would become 42. So can you see that our ones column has changed? So our ones column has turned from 1 1 to 2 ones. So 41 has become 42 because 1 more has been added to it. And if we look at our 100 square, we can see that because we have 41 here, where I've just circled, and by adding 1 more, it's turned into 42. So by knowing that 1 more than 11 is 12, it can help us find out what 1 more than 41 is. So just because the number is bigger, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily harder to work out. So what about if we did one less? Okay, let's think of our ones column again, because that is the number that's changing. It's how many ones we have, our groups of 1. So we have 32. So let's circle 32 on our 100 square. Okay, and we want 1 less. So we would go 31, because that is 1 less. So again, our ones column is the number that has changed. So 32 has become 31. It's our ones column that has changed. Our tens have stayed the same. We still have 3 tens, which is our 30, but our 2 ones have changed to 1 1 because we have 1 less. Okay? So if you're finding this a bit difficult, just pause the video and have a think, or you can rewind the video and listen to this first bit again, because this is a new topic for us, so we're going to take it really slowly. So we just had a bit of a go using our 100 square, but let's have a bit more of a practice. So I'm going to do this on the screen now using my pen, so it's a bit easier to see. So let's try our number 24. Oh, let's get my pen back. Okay, so we have 24. Let's circle our 24. So if you want to circle your 100 square yourself and follow along, then that would be a really good idea. So circle number 24. So if we want one more than 24, we would go forwards 1. We would jump forwards 1. And that would turn our number into 25. So can you see our ones column has changed? We have more ones now because we have one more. So let's try a bigger number. If we have 45 and we want one more than 45, we would jump forward 1 and that would make 46. So let's try a number that we can do one less than. So if we had number 42, circle that. What way do you think we need to go if we're trying to find one less? We would need to go back. We would need to go this way because we're finding one less than 42. So that becomes 41. So our ones column has changed. Our 2 ones has become 1 1. Okay? So if you want to pause the video and carry on practicing this, then that would be a really good idea. Okay, and we can look at this with some donuts, for example, some pictures to see this happening. So we have a number of donuts here. So let's quickly count them up to see how many we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 along the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've got 10 and we've got 8. Altogether, we have 18 donuts. Okay. Don't worry too much about that. We're just trying to find out how many donuts we have altogether. So there are 18 donuts. So one more than 18 is, so that's if we had one more in here. Let's draw another one in here. If we had one more donut, how many would we have? So we could add them all up again. That would take quite a long time. We could work out that there are 20 donuts if these 2 squares were full, and then take away 1. Or we could look at our 100 square and see what one more than 18 is. So let's circle our number 18 on our 100 square. And let's jump forward 1. One more would make it 19. So we would have 19 donuts. So let's write that there. So we would have 19. Okay. So we know we've got 18 donuts there. So what would happen if we had one less? So let's circle our number 18 again on our 100 square. Which way would you need to go if you were trying to find one less? So on the screen, let's just cross out our extra donut there and our donut there. So that's how many donuts we would have if we had one less. So on our 100 square, one less would be going backwards, and we would have 17 donuts. So there are 18 donuts, one less than 18 is 17. So well done if you managed to get that right as you were following along. So we can also use our number lines. So you have a number line in your home learning pack, so you can use that to help you find one more or one less. So let's do one as an example. So we have 38 here. So one more than 38, we know just by looking at our number line that jumping forward one more would make it 39. So we can write that on there. And one less than 38, which I'm sure you've already guessed, that would mean we jump backwards and it makes it 37. So one less than 38 is 37. And you can do this using your 100 square like we have been doing. And you can also do it using a number line like this if your number's 20, for example. But let's just stop there and have a think. If our number is 20 and we were trying to find one less than 20, is it our ones column that changes? Or is it our ones column and our tens column? Have a look on your number, on your 100 square. Just circle that number 20 and find one less in it. So go back one number. You should land on the number 19. If you look at the number 19, the tens column and the ones column has changed. So let's look at what we mean by that. So we've got our 100 square up here. So if I do another example on the screen, so if we had the number 19 and we add one more to turn it into 20, that means our tens column and our ones column needs to change. Because do you see that by adding 1 to our 9, we would make 10. So then we would have two groups of 10, two tens. That would mean we have 0 ones. So 19 becomes 20 by changing the tens column and the ones column. And this can also happen if we are going backwards, if we are doing one less. So if we use the number 40, for example, and we were doing one less than 40, we need to change our tens column and our ones column. So our 40, if we look on our 100 square and go back one, would turn into 39. Okay? Because we are taking away 1 from our 4 groups of 10, so that turns it into 3 groups of 10 and 9 ones. Okay? So have a little think. I know it's very tricky, some of this, and it's the first time we've looked at it properly in this detail. So don't worry if you're struggling a bit, because you can always look back at this video and keep having a practice, okay? But it's important to know that the ones column isn't always the one that changes. So let's move on to our task now. So you might want to start on the green challenge, and the green challenge is exactly what we've been doing in our activity. It would just be a case of you using your 100 square like this, and you will be finding out what is one more or one less than the numbers that are on the screen there. And those questions will be in more detail later on when the screen is up on the green questions, okay? So you might have the number 24 and you might need to find one less than 24. So you would circle 24 on your 100 square, land on 23, and then in your home learning books you would write 23 as your answer. Okay, if you want to start on the Amber challenge, you have some questions to answer. So you have a statement first that says Rosie thinks that the only ones digit changes when you find more than one. So you have to say whether you agree with this and give an example of a number that can agree with what you're saying. So we've actually just talked about that. So do you think that you only ever change the ones column if you're doing one more than a number? And if you think differently, then say why, and maybe write a number to prove your answer. And then there's some other statements. So if 1 less than 12 is 11, what is 1 less than 22? So again, that's another question we had a go at doing right at the start of this video. Okay, so some of you might want to start on this Amber challenge before moving on to the Red challenge. Just if you would rather start on a challenge that's just a slightly bit less difficult. Okay, so moving on to the Red challenge, you have some questions, some number sentences with some gaps missing, and you just need to work out what numbers need to go into the green boxes. So for example, something is 1 less than 27. So you're trying to find a number that is 1 less than 27. So you can use your 100 squares again to do this. So something is 1 less than 27. So I would circle 27 and I would find out what is 1 less by going back. Okay, and then I would cross out the red box down here and I would say 26. Okay, so I've done the first one for you to help you. And then there's an extension task, which I will show you on the next screen if you get to that. So this is the screen for people doing the green challenge. So you've got some number sentences there, and you just need to use your 100 square to help you. So pause the video on this page now, and then we can go over the answers at the end. If you are on the Amber challenge, pause the video now and complete these statements that we just talked through earlier. And if you would like to do the Red challenge, we have that first question that we just talked to. And then there's a bit of an extension task where you need to use the clues to work out the number that is being described. So I have a number with 3 tens. 1 less than my number makes the tens digit change. 1 more than my number has 1 1. What is my number? So I think it's a really good idea to use your 100 square when you get to that question, because that can really help you work out what number is being described. Okay, so it will take you about 20 minutes to do these tasks, and feel free to have a go at another challenge if you finish a bit early, and come back to the video and we will look at the answers and how we got there at the end. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, so welcome back to the green challenge, and let's check over our work with our 100 square at hand. So we had some statements here that we're looking at what is 1 less or 1 more than some of our numbers. So we have our first question, what is 1 less than 32? So you would have circled the 32 on your 100 square. Then you would have jumped back 1 less, and you would have got 31. And then if you were looking at what is 1 more than 37, you would have circled 37, just like this, and you would have jumped forward 1 to land on 38. Okay, so well done if you got that right. And then it would have been the same techniques for the other questions. So number 3 would have been 42. Number 4 would have been 41. 1 less than 21 is 20. 1 more than 19 is 20. So I hope you were careful with that one, because remember what we said about the number 19, that both the 10s and the 1s would need to change. Then number 7 was 1 less than 29 is 28. 1 more than 36 is 37. 1 less than 30 is 29. And 1 more than 28 is 29. So well done if you got those right. And don't worry if you didn't get some of them right. You can always go back and have another go and rewatch the video. And you can use your 100 square as well to help you get those answers right, okay? It's all about practice, because this is the first time we've done this. Okay, so on to the Amber challenge. So this was our statement. Rosie thinks that only the ones digit changes when you find more than 1. Do you agree? So hopefully you all said that you don't agree, or that you sometimes agree, because remember, we talked just before we went on to our task about how some numbers have to have the tens column and the ones column change. So for example, we said that 1 more than 19 is 20, as the tens and ones digit has to change. So Rosie's sometimes right though, because 1 more than 24 is 25, and only the ones digit has changed. Okay, so she's sometimes right. But we know that if we have some numbers, such as 19, that our tens and our 1 changes. So well done if you got that right. And then moving on to the second part of our Amber task, we said if 1 less than 12 is 11, what is 1 less than 22? So hopefully you will use your 100 square, circle 22, jump back 1, and then you landed on 21. And then what is 1 more than 29? Well, we know that's 30, and we know it's 30 because when the number ends in 9, we need to change our tens column if we are adding 1 more. So well done if you got those right as well. And moving on to our red challenge. So we had some statements here, and I will just get my pen ready. So something is 1 less than 27. So remember I said that it would be a good idea to have your 100 square in front of you for these. So something is 1 less than 27. So I would circle my number 27, and 1 less than that would be 26. And then our next statement is 34 is 1 less than something. So I would circle my 34. And we are trying to find what 34 is 1 less than. So we would look at the number 1 more than that, which is 35, because 34 is 1 less than 35. Okay, so that one's a bit trickier, because you've got to find what is 1 more than 34, even though the question says 1 less. Okay, so that's 35. So well done if you got that one right, because that was a bit tricky. Okay, so something is 1 more than 44. So let's circle our 44. Something is 1 more than 44. So again, we would jump forward 1, and we would land on 45. So 45 is 1 more than 44. And then our final question for this challenge would be 50 is 1 more than something. So circle your number 50 on your 100 square, 50 is one more than something. So we need to find the number that is one less than 50. We need to go backwards. Okay, so 50. 49, 50. 50 is one more than 49. Can you see that? One more than 49 is 50. Okay, so we've had to find what's one less than 50 to get that answer there. So that's why those ones are a bit trickier, because you've almost got to do the opposite of what it says. This is why it's a really good idea to have your 100 square out in front of you to help you with these first, because it's often quite difficult to do these big numbers in your head. Remember we said a few weeks ago about how you can do lots of maths questions in your head, but when you get to these bigger numbers, it's that bit harder, which is why we've been using our 100 square. Okay, and let's look at our final red question. So this was our extension, our extra challenge. So use the clues to work out my number. So I have a number with 3 tens. One less than my number makes the tens digit change. One more than my number has 1, 1. What is my number? Now, hopefully you paused the video for this bit and you thought really carefully about this and you used your 100 square. So I have a number with 3 tens. Okay, so I know that a number with 3 tens has to be 30 something. It has to start with the 3. It has to be 30 something, because 30 has 3 tens. But one less than my number would make this tens digit change. So one less than 30 would turn that into 20 something. So that would make our tens digit a 2. Okay, that's great. So that's changed. And then one more than my number has 1, 1. So if we look at our 100 square and we circle the number 30, one less than the number 30 would turn it into number 29. Can you see that? That's making the tens digit change. And then one more than 30 has a 1 in it. So that would make it 31. So our number must be 30. Okay? So if you got 30, then really well done, because that was a really difficult question and you had to think so carefully about that. Don't worry if you didn't manage to do that today, because these questions are really difficult. So, well done for today's maths lesson. We have been finding out one more and one less than numbers within 50. So we've been doing this with numbers that are a lot bigger than some of the ones we've looked at before. So super well done. And tomorrow we will be comparing these numbers within 50. So we will be looking at numbers that are larger and numbers that are smaller. So remember, we've looked at this before with numbers to 20. Okay, and don't forget to take a picture of your work today and send it to your class teacher. You can do that on Tapestry or Facebook or even an email. We would love to see all your hard work. And I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day and rest those maths brains, because tomorrow we will be needing them for comparing numbers within 50. Okay, have a great rest of your day and see you tomorrow. Bye.